not open to the public. Well, tonight in West Michigan, a Baltimore author is talking to educators about how they can steer young people away from violence like this. New tonight, 24 Hour News 8's Tom Hillen brings us his fascinating perspective on the situation in Baltimore. Tom.
Well, good evening to you, Marley. Yes, all eyes of the nation on Baltimore tonight. Wes Moore tells me he wasn't the best kid, sometimes get in trouble with the law. But when his mom sent him to military boarding school, his education put his life on a new track. Tonight, he tells me that he understands the anger on the streets of Baltimore, but not the reaction. Wes Moore's best-selling book tells the story of two lives, a man with his same name from his same neighborhood. But the other Wes Moore is behind bars for murdering an off-duty police officer. This Wes Moore went on to become a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University. He still lives in Baltimore. It's been difficult to watch what's happening there.
These type of incidences never develop overnight. So many of these cases are things that are long time coming and long time brewing. Because one thing we realize about what's happening in Baltimore right now is that it's not just about Freddie Gray.
25-year-old Freddie Gray was arrested on weapons charges by the Baltimore Police Department and died a week later due to a severe spinal cord injury, something his family says happened while in police custody. The riots started after his funeral yesterday.
This isn't just necessarily about what happened to that young man 2 weeks ago. This is about things that have been happening for generations, and I think that's what's caused a lot of the pent-up anger to now spill over onto the streets.
Despite that, Moore says the way protesters are going about this is wrong.
Right now, unfortunately, the actions of a minority of people, but the actions of them are not moving us closer to the goal. They're actually moving us further away. We have to keep the goal as our North Star.
Now, he says one key thing people are realizing more and more every day is how necessary it is that a conversation does happen, better increasing cooperation and communication between police and communities, and that when talking about this issue, he feels parents need to make sure to include their children because they are a big part of what's going on here.
And it is clear that he is disappointed in so many of the actions that have taken place in his hometown. What is his main message that he wants to get across?
Well, what he thinks that needs to happen, we need to do a better job, he says, of listening, understanding, and loving the people that we are around, the communities that we live in. And he thinks that's the best way for us to really achieve an open dialogue that people can really sit down and have an open, honest conversation, and that will in turn lead to better relations, not just in Baltimore between police and the community, but at so many of these cities we're seeing this happen across the nation.
Such a critical discussion. Tom, thank you for that report.